I'm really excited to share our new interest and search volume data set that's built right inside Shopper Analytics. I find this data really fascinating because it helps you understand what is every consumer searching for when they're browsing on Amazon, Walmart, Target, and every other major retailer. We measure this data down at the individual keyword level. It can help you understand your brand awareness and brand health and your share of voice, but it can also help you better understand where your brand fits in from a competitive perspective, or what are the emerging features and benefits and ingredients that customers may be searching for in your particular category. So let's take a look at the data as I go through a quick demo. Now, in this demo account, I've already pulled up the granola and nutrition bar category. So that's the example we'll take a look at in this video. The first data set here says search volume, and what this is going to show us is the actual number of searches that consumers are typing in to all the major retailer search bars. And you can see that over the past year, consumers have searched for granola nutrition bars 206.3 million times, and that's up just 2.8% year over year. And not only can you view this data on sort of a weekly basis here, but you're able to understand how is the search volume changing week over week or year over year. As I scroll down at the category level, I really like this data set because it helps me understand what is the share of voice of the granola bar category. So essentially what we're looking at here is searches for the granola bar category make up about 1.5% of all the entire grocery department searches, and it's down just a little bit year over year. As I scroll down further, I can see the next data set here, which actually helps me understand what are the different types of topics consumers are searching for. So about 8.4% of people are searching for protein bar related phrases, 6.9% of all the granola bar searches are for snack-related searches, etc. So it helps you understand those micro segments or micro topics that really are driving consumer search volumes. Further down the data set, I always like to look at this chart, which shows share of voice by brand. And ultimately, it helps you understand the popularity of every brand in your entire category. So in this particular example, I can see 4.1% of all the searches in the granola bar category are Kind Bar specific branded, or 3.9% of all the granola bar searches are specific to the Quest Nutrition branded search terms. And just from looking at this particular chart, I can see there's a relatively newer brand in the category called Barebells, and you can see that they're gaining share of voice very rapidly. They've gone from 1% share of voice to 2.3% over the past year. Now, the default view here is share of voice, but if you ever want to look at this on a search volume perspective, you can just switch the toggle, and now I can see Barebells has actually generated 4.7 million consumer searches specifically for their brand. So they're growing very rapidly in branded search year over year. Another great use case of this data set is oftentimes brands or some of our clients will reach out and say, hey, my sales are growing very rapidly. What's driving that? Or maybe the inverse. Maybe sales are declining or softening, and they want to understand what's really driving that behavior. I almost always like to look at the search volume data set here first, because in many ways, this is the top of the metric funnel for your brand in the internet economy, right? Where I can see some brands have a bit of a softening or maybe a decline in their actual branded search volume across these big retailers. And oftentimes that will correspond or correlate to a softening of their retail sales. So I always like to look here first to see if maybe there's some issue with the brand or the brand awareness of that particular company. As I scroll further down, you get much more granular sets of data. Here, you're able to view search volume at the individual keyword level across these retailers. So I can see the most popular search term in the category is the phrase protein bars, and that's grown from 6.8 million to 9.7 million searches over the past year. You know, another big request we had from our clients over the past couple of years is they want to understand how are consumers searching and how are those different across various retailers? And so I really like this particular view of the data where I can see for the entire granola bar category, Walmart actually generates the most consumer search volume. It received 116 million searches over the past year within the category, whereas Amazon generated just 64 million searches. This data set can be helpful because it allows you to better plan from a retail media perspective or from a promotion or marketing funding perspective. You can see where are actually the majority of your consumers or your target audiences actually starting their search for your particular category. As you scroll down, further down the page, you have many other cuts of valuable data, such as the search volume in every individual subcategory within granola bars, such as the search for protein, breakfast and cereal bars, granola bars, etc. Last but not least, you're able to see really granular cuts of data here at the individual keyword level. You're able to understand the search volume and the growth in that search for every individual search term, but also you can see, is it a branded keyword or not? And then if it is assigned to an individual brand, you can see that identified here in the column to the far right. So this data set is really helpful at allowing your brand to understand what are consumers searching for in your category and what micro trends are beginning to emerge. Now, so far, we've been looking at the performance across the entire granola and nutrition bar category. But next, I want to show you what this data set looks like at the individual brand level. So let's scroll back up and take a look at the individual brand that we noticed earlier was growing very quickly with its search volume and share of voice. It's a brand called Barebells. So I'm going to click on that individual brand. And now what we're going to do is take a look at the search volume, but now it pertains to just the Barebells brand. I've pre-filtered this to the granola and nutrition bar category as well. So like we saw before, I'm able to see the search volume specifically that's branded for the Barebells company here on a week-to-week basis. And right on this chart, I can see they've acquired 4.7 million searches from consumers across these retailers so far this year. But if you look at the growth rate, they've more than doubled their branded search over the past year. So this brand is doing quite well from an awareness perspective. As I scroll further down, I can see how is the brand doing from a share of voice perspective. The brand has now generated 2.3% of the total share of voice in this category. Scrolling down further, I'm now able to look at the search volume for consumers looking for the Barebells brand across every retailer. And unlike the category overall, Barebells is a little bit different, where the vast majority of their search takes place on Amazon. So 2.83 million shoppers have searched for Barebells on Amazon, but that's more than twice as many that have looked for the brand on Walmart.com or Target.com over the past year. So this is just a different view of the data set, where you can look at an individual brand, but you can see how they're performing across every retailer or every category and subcategory where they compete.